Oh my goodness. Good morning, good afternoon. Whatever it is for you, I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Zach Schomler. This is Strong Opinion Sports, episode 645. Welcome in. We are 5 away from 650. That's pretty crazy. If you're watching on YouTube, obviously, I'm in a different location. It's a setting, though, you may recognize. I've been in this room many times. I am back at my old apartment in Honolulu. I'm house sitting for my former roommate. I'm here in Honolulu, Hawaii, in a room set up for cats, quite frankly. There's a cat tree, there's a lot of cat toys, and there's like a futon, and it looks like some kind of weird, I don't know what kind of set you would call this, but it's an empty room with cat stuff and a camera and me. And it is what it is. I think, it could be worse. I'm holding the microphone in my hand because your boy... not only did I forget my microphone stand, but even if I had brought my microphone stand, it would have been awkwardly like sitting on a basically clipboard in my lap. This is actually a better solution, carrying it in my hand. I think, I've got the audio in my ears. It sounds great. From what I'm hearing, pretty good. I'm very happy with it. I hope we're doing very well. Today, I had an interesting decision today. I was like, well... we could either only answer questions from Patreon and talk about the 2 news stories that have gone on in the NFL this week, or we could kind of follow up last week's episode and talk about teams that I think have hope for next year. I'm going to do that. I'm going to talk about teams that I think have hope, and then after that is concluded, we'll talk about the 2 news stories this week and then answer a couple questions from Patreon. You guys, dude, shout out to you guys. You are killing it with questions on Patreon. I gave a call to action maybe. Couple weeks ago, I said, hey guys, you got to pick it up. I want better questions on Patreon. You guys delivered. I'm very happy with what you guys brought to the table. Now, before we do anything, though, today, we got to pay the bills. So, this episode is brought to you by Game Time. The NBA Finals are here. Game Time makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. They've got killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. It's a great way to buy NBA playoff tickets. I would really enjoy going to an NBA Finals game. Celtics and Mavericks is a really fun matchup. However, your boy Zach, I live in Portland, Oregon. I guess the Blazers are there. It's not much of a sports town, in my opinion. There's like the Timbers and the Blazers. Guess who's not in the NBA Finals? The Portland Trail Blazers. So the way I would use the Game Time app, I would probably go watch a Mariners game up in Seattle or get concert tickets. But what you can do, they've got last-minute deals that save you up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. They've got flash deals, which can save you even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. They've got zone deals where you can save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats for you. They've got all-in pricing, where all-in pricing allows you to toggle a feature which shows the total upfront rather than having surprise fees at checkout, so there's no hidden fees. And you've got seat views where on the app, you can get a panoramic view from the seat you're preparing to buy before you even make your purchase. There's a couple ways Game Time has your back. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. They've got job loss assurance, so if you lose your job and need a refund, Game Time's got you covered. They've got event cancellation protection, meaning you've got automatic full refunds for events that are canceled and not rescheduled, and there are 24-hour returns guaranteed. So you can return your tickets within 24 hours from the time of buying them for a full credit to your Game Time account. No questions asked. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for 20% off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account on the Game Time app, use code CLNS, you'll get 20% off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, let's jump in. I want to talk about NFL teams that have hope. Last week's episode, we talked about teams that are kind of circling the toilet, circling the drain. I guess I combined teams in the toilet and circling the drain, but you know what I'm saying. Teams that are bad, teams that I'm worried about, that have a chance to get the number 1 overall pick, and teams I'm concerned about. A lot of the teams on that list are going to overlap with teams on this list because for the same reasons you can be concerned, you can actually also be positive and excited. But today I want to talk about teams I've got hope for, teams that I'm excited for. I'm not going to lie to you. There are not very many teams on this list that were playoff teams last year. For example, I don't know, the Baltimore Ravens, the 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, these are teams that obviously have hope. They've got superstar quarterbacks. They were playoff teams last year. They're really good. Like, most of the teams here are teams that are trying to make progress, that have made lots of changes this offseason. There are 2 playoff teams I have on this list. We'll talk about them probably next, actually. For example, the Green Bay Packers are a team that technically were a playoff team last year. They had the number 7 seed in the NFC that went 9-8. And they ended the year really strong. But if you watch the Packers last year, they started the year 3-6. It was kind of an ugly start to the year. They had their young quarterback, Jordan Love, in his first year as a starting quarterback. He got better and better and better as the year went on. And by the end of the year, the Packers actually ended their final 8 games of the year going 6-2. 6 wins, 2 losses. That's a huge progression. And I've got really high hopes for Green Bay as they try to get better and improve this year. They're a super young team. They've got a really fun group of guys catching passes. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, tight end Luke Musgrave. They brought in Josh Dobbs. He'll be running back from Las Vegas. When I look at the Green Bay Packers, I see a team that, yes, was a playoff team last year. But they're still a team with a lot to grow and a lot they can move and a lot they can improve on moving forward. I'm so excited to watch the Green Bay Packers this year. Jordan Love, man, he made so much progress. I've been watching a lot of film of his recently. He's been getting better and better and better, and it's really exciting and really cool. I am really, really optimistic and full of hope when it comes to the Green Bay Packers next year. I guess this year. We're coming up on fall. It's now June 1st. So fall 2024 is a year that makes me very, very interested, a season that makes me very, very interested in the Green Bay Packers. There's another team that's kind of in a similar position, a team that had a first-year starting quarterback, went to the playoffs last year, won a playoff game. If you remember, they won a playoff game 45-14 with a rookie quarterback. What team am I talking about? Do you know? It should be pretty obvious if you're a huge NFL fan. It would be the Houston Texans. Oh my goodness, dude. Rookie quarterback last year, CJ Stroud, was incredible. He was ridiculous. They dominated their playoff game. They beat the Cleveland Browns 45-14. And what did they do this year? In the offseason, they added Stephon Diggs, look, say what you want about Stephon Diggs, his time in Buffalo. He's a number 1 receiver. He's another really good weapon for a young quarterback that already is outstanding, CJ Stroud. I think Houston got much better this offseason. They were a playoff team last year. They won a playoff game in a dominant style. I am really, really optimistic and excited about the future, and especially this year for the Houston Texans. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a team that made some changes this offseason. They added offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, and they added not 1, but 2 quarterbacks. They added Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, 2 guys who were starting quarterbacks in the past. I'm not sure it's going to work out. Like, I had them on my list of teams that I'm concerned about that could be horrible too, right? Russell Wilson declined, we'll say, toward the end of his time in Seattle, and Denver just flat out didn't work. I was excited. Nathaniel Hackett didn't work. He got a new coach, Sean Payton. That also didn't work. Russell Wilson is on his 4th head coach in 4 years, 3rd team in 4 years. He went from Seattle to Denver, now Pittsburgh. I don't know, man. I'm really not sure what to make of Russell Wilson. I'm rooting for him. I'm hopeful for him. But for the same reason you can be concerned, like, Russ, he sucked in Denver. He wasn't great. You can also, twist that and be like, well, maybe Russell Wilson just needed the right head coach. Maybe Mike Tomlin is exactly what he needed. And if Russell Wilson doesn't work out, they've got a backup plan. They've got a really, really talented young quarterback, Justin Fields. And maybe the time sitting and learning behind Russ can make Justin Fields even better. I think there's tremendous, tremendous value in sitting on the bench, taking your time, and learning from people that maybe leave room for improvement. I don't know how to tell this story nicely, but I've been spending my time the last couple months training to be in sales and going on sales calls, and I'm not the lead salesman. So like, I go to the room, I sit in the room, hear the whole conversation, but there's another salesman having the conversation, leading the sales call, doing all the talking. I'm sitting there watching and observing. As I've spent the last 3 months watching and observing the other sales in my company's sales process, I've collected a lot of notes and a lot of things that I would do differently than them. Things that I'm very excited to go on my own and try for myself. It's the same when you're a quarterback. You sit and you watch. If Justin Fields watches Russell Wilson play quarterback for, I don't know, most of training camp, a couple games during the regular season, by week 6 or 7, he's going to be like, oh man, Russ is really leaving that on the table, this on the table. There's a couple things style ways I would do differently with leadership. Like there's a couple ways that you can tweak what Russell Wilson does if you're Justin Fields and go, I think I can succeed even more. But watching another guy ahead of you, there's really great value in that. Again, I give a lot of credit to the salesmen ahead of me at my company, right? The guys who trained me and I learned from. I don't mean to throw any shade at them. It's just I watched their process and went, like I would do things my own way, differently. But it was so valuable for me to sit down and watch and learn how they did it. And it's the same with playing quarterback. When I played quarterback, I'm a guy who watches and learns from watching other people doing things. When I played quarterback in college, man, I remember I transferred in and I spent weeks watching the former quarterback who wasn't very good run the same offense. And he was a quarterback by the time I got there, he'd already left. He was a senior the year before, so I never played with him. But I watched him run the offense and went, I would have done differently here, here, and here. But watching him run the offense, watching a person get reps doing it, really helped me learn what I was doing. And so if you're not optimistic about Russell Wilson, which is understandable, he's a talented quarterback, massively overpaid, but mostly getting paid by the Denver Broncos. Even if you don't think Russell Wilson's going to be the starting quarterback in Pittsburgh this year, we can all acknowledge, hey, the guy behind him, Justin Fields, is really talented and probably going to benefit from the time sitting behind Russ, learning and watching what he's doing. On top of all this, by the way, you've got an offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, who, look, I hated. How do I say this nicely? I can't. I fucking hated watching the Atlanta Falcons the last couple of years. It drove me nuts. It made me want to. Dude, I was furious. I hated watching this man ruin the Atlanta Falcons. But let's kind of give a shred of optimism here. There's a lot of really positive stuff coming out of Pittsburgh right now. People love him. They say he's running the offense well. They like him way more than Matt Canada. And sometimes comparing yourself to someone who sucks is all you need. If your last girlfriend was terrible and your new girlfriend is just okay, you're like, it's so great. She's so nice. It's so good. She doesn't cause drama. She's really chill. It's the same with Arthur Smith. If the former offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh was a disaster, all Arthur Smith has to do is not be a disaster, and he's an automatic improvement, and the players are going to love him. I think that's what's happening in Pittsburgh. They had a tragic, horrible, terrible experience before. They don't need you to be the best offensive coordinator in football in Pittsburgh. They need you to not be a disaster. That's an achievable goal for Arthur Smith. And on top of that, again, it's very possible Arthur Smith is a kind of coach, maybe we'll say, who was a terrible head coach, but is actually a pretty solid offensive coordinator. Look, the way he ran things in Atlanta, not getting Kyle Pitts involved, not getting Bijan Robinson involved, calling plays and involving the wrong people in game planning drove me nuts. But again, it's very possible Arthur Smith, the reason why all this went down is simply because he had too much responsibility. He was a guy trying to run a team, and that affected his ability as a play caller and offensive coordinator. Maybe by just focusing on calling plays and designing the offense in Pittsburgh, Arthur Smith is going to see a dramatic improvement. So those are the reasons I look at Pittsburgh to be optimistic. On top of like TJ Watt, and you got Mike Tomlin, a legendary head coach. Like there's all these reasons to be excited. But Russell Wilson grabs my attention. Guy who's been really successful before, maybe works really well in more of a run-first offense with Arthur Smith, where they're not asking him to do a lot. If you don't believe in Russell Wilson, well, they got another guy behind him, Justin Fields, who's really talented, maybe the best runner of the football on their entire team in Pittsburgh, playing quarterback. He can learn behind Russ, get ready to go. When his time comes, he's ready. And on top of all of that, maybe the offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, look, he's certainly an upgrade over Matt Canada, who was a disaster last year. People hated him. Already not being hated is a huge swing in the right direction, or points in the right, it's brownie points, I guess, is what I'm trying to say for Arthur Smith. But there's a chance Arthur Smith actually does a good job and is a good offensive coordinator. So I look at Pittsburgh in a really tough division, the AFC North, the toughest division in football, in my opinion. But still a team that's got a lot of things to look forward to, and they're trying to rebuild their team. I'm very optimistic and open-minded here. Now, all the reasons I listed to be excited are also reasons you could be very concerned, right? Why didn't Russ work before? Why did Arthur Smith get fired? Why did Justin Fields get replaced in Chicago? But it's really however you want to twist it. If you want to be optimistic about the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, go ahead. I totally understand that, and I see no reason to kill your joy. Go for it, and I'm hopeful too. The New York Jets are a team that, how can you not be monumentally optimistic about the New York Jets? They get kind of a do-over. They've got a 40-year-old veteran quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, and the question really is, can a 40-year-old Hall of Fame quarterback lead the New York Jets to a Super Bowl? That's basically the question. Honestly, we're trying to find out. The Jets have a ton of hope. Last year, I mean, really, we're back in the same position the Jets were in last year, where, man, I was so excited for the Jets last year. They were the number one team I couldn't wait to watch and couldn't wait to cover. They were going to be the thing I leaned on all year. Week to week, I was going to say, no matter what happens in the NFL, we're going to get a really good segment about the New York Jets. And what happened? We didn't get much. We really didn't. It was very disappointing. It was frustrating. It was sad. It was maddening. The New York Jets, 4 plays into the year, lost their starting quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, and we really never got to see what they could be with him at the helm. And again, it's a do-over. This year, I think there's a lot of reason to be excited. They added some receiving weapons. They've got a coach. Look, people hate on Robert Saleh. I love the Jets head coach, Robert Saleh. I think he's an awesome dude, the kind of guy I'd want to play for, a great leader who's had some really bad luck last couple of years. Zach Wilson didn't work out, and Aaron Rodgers got hurt. It's kind of all in this year. If Robert Saleh doesn't win this year with Aaron Rodgers, he's probably never getting a head coaching job ever again. But he's a really smart defensive mind. They've got a lot of pieces there. That question, again, comes back to Aaron. How much better can Aaron Rodgers make the Jets? I think tremendously better. It's a team I'm certainly optimistic for this year. Jets fans, how do you feel? Give me a pulse check. How do you feel about the Jets? Are you just so... I would imagine Jets fans are so defeated and tired and worn out by years and years of rooting for I don't want to say they're a terrible franchise, but they certainly are it would be a kick in the nuts to be a Jets fan, to say the least. That's a tough team to be a fan of. How do you feel, Jets fans? Are you excited? Are you optimistic? I'm optimistic for you. I can't imagine, how can you not be? You got Aaron Rodgers. Things got to be good. Assuming that, 5 plays into the year this year. The year doesn't end. Can Aaron stay healthy is kind of the big question. And what kind of impact can he have? I think he's going to have a huge impact. And are the Jets a playoff team? I think so. I'm really, really hopeful. But that's just me being hopeful and optimistic. And you can certainly spin it the other direction if you want. Oh, the Jets have a 40-year-old washed-up quarterback who's coming off a torn Achilles. You can always spin it that way if you want. But I spin it as, man, they got a great quarterback now for the first time in a long time. And I'm really excited to see what the Jets can do with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. How about the New England Patriots? Things are very, very different in New England. Bill Belichick is gone. Tom Brady's been gone for a long time, but man, the departure of Tom Brady's never felt more loud, I guess. The silence of having no Brady there, you really feel it now. Mac Jones failed. Belichick is gone. It's a whole new era in New England. Things are completely restarting. I see a reason to be very optimistic in New England, actually. Is it going to be a great year? No. They're not going to win a Super Bowl. They're not going to be a playoff team. I would be absolutely shocked if that happens. But if you're a Patriots fan, here is your reason to be excited, to be optimistic, to look forward to. It all revolves around their number 3 overall pick, North Carolina quarterback, Drake May. I have my concerns about Drake May. Not a lot of weapons around him, in my opinion. He's got to make improvements on film. In college, there was a lot of ugly mistakes, a lot of things he's got to clean up. His footwork is a mess. However, the potential with Drake May, pretty crazy. Huge arm, can run, great athlete, physically gifted. And on top of all of this, there's a thing we were seeing in the NFL recently where teams are getting wise. They draft a young quarterback, and they give you a mentor, veteran quarterback above them. But it's very clear that Jacoby Brissett, the current QB1 in New England, when he was brought into New England, They sat him down and they had a conversation with him and said, look, Jacoby, we want you to start week 1. We want you to be our guy early on in the year. But we're giving you a bunch of money partially because we really expect and hope you can help kind of be a coach to our young quarterback, Drake May. Help develop him with us. We need you to mentor him. And it's very clear when you watch videos of training camp in New England, that's what's going on. The conversations are happening. There's encouragement. It's really cool. And I think for sure, man, the possibilities, right? Imagine if things go well with Drake May. The positive stuff that can go down with Drake May is unbelievable. And I'm really, really excited, man. I'm really hopeful. And I find the entire reason to be optimistic about the New England Patriots to be because of their quarterback, Drake May. And that's fine with me. Like, again, if he turns out becoming what I think he could become, which is if he can really maximize his potential, take that huge frame, guy who can run, massive arm, and hone that skill set and really develop into a starting quarterback and take maybe some of the, how do I say this properly? He's talented, but not very skilled. Jacoby Brissett is a less talented quarterback ahead of him, but much more skilled. If you can combine and transfer the skill set and knowledge Jacoby Brissett has to Drake May, you're going to get a really good starting quarterback in New England. All right. The Washington Commanders changed a ton. The Washington Commanders have a new head coach, Dan Quinn, a guy who really, frankly, took time after his failure in Atlanta to regroup and be the head coach, be the defensive coordinator in Dallas, and preparing and learning and growing and developing himself as a coach. They've got a new offensive coordinator in Washington, Cliff Kingsbury. They've got a new rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels, dude, can run, he can throw. Some people think he was the best quarterback in the draft, even better than Caleb Williams. I'm open to having that conversation. I don't want to just watch him play. I want to see how September goes. And, I think by January, we can really have that conversation. Was Jaden Daniels better than Caleb Williams? That's going to be a fun debate to have all year. Can't wait for that. But they've also got a lot of weapons in Washington. Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. They added Austin Eckler at running back. He's a veteran who is slowing down, but look, he's also done a lot of good stuff in the NFL. If you want to be optimistic about it, you certainly can. Brian Robinson Jr. is back at running back. You've got De'Ami Brown at wide receiver, Zach Ertz at tight end. You got a rookie receiver, Luke McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey's younger brother out of Rice. And I'm really hoping that Dan Quinn can, look, he doesn't have the same personnel he had in Dallas. It's just hard. Building a great defense like that in Dallas isn't really a thing you can replicate because of Michael Parsons and some of the great players they have in Dallas. However, certainly it's reasonable to expect Dan Quinn to help Washington's defense take a step forward and improve. And I look at Washington, all the changes, head coach, quarterback, offensive coordinator. They've got weapons galore, frankly, around their young quarterback. And there's a lot of exciting stuff happening for the Washington Commanders and very much a reason to be excited about that football team. The Chicago Bears. Oh, my goodness, man. They drafted quarterback Caleb Williams, who I think is going to be, he's a superstar, man. He gets a lot of hate, a lot of flack. I love the guy. He's weird. He's his own person. Kind of does whatever he wants. I respect a person who doesn't maybe feel the pressure to fall in line with everybody else. They kind of do their own thing in a very comfortable way. I really like that. People hate on Caleb Williams because he's different, quite frankly. And I think that's just a stupid reason to hate on him. If you can come up with legit reasons to not like him, I'm cool with that. But a lot of the reasons to not like him are like, well, he did this thing. He colored his nails. He has a pink phone case. He seems weird. It's like, shut up. Like, how about we watch him play on Sundays before we absolutely tear him down as a person? I don't think who he is a reason to be concerned at all. And then the weapons around Caleb Williams in Chicago are so exciting. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze. They got a tight end, Cole Kmet, who's awesome. An offensive line I believe is going to take a step forward. Now, the concerning thing in Chicago, quite honestly, is not the players. I mean, look, there are concerns about the players. Maybe the GM picking the players is a problem. But beyond that, they've got a new offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. Shane Waldron, new offensive coordinator out of Seattle. He never blew me away in Seattle. I was never like, oh, clearly that's why he's one of the brilliant young offensive minds in football. There was never a moment with Shane Waldron where I was excited and hopeful. And then on top of that, coaching is really got to be the limitation when you look at the Chicago Bears, because their head coach, Matt Eberflus, is a defensive head coach. Without a great defense, by the way. Like, I've been waiting. Hey, if you're going to be a defensive head coach, your defense has to succeed and be good. And if not, what are we talking about? But the reality is, it's not an ideal situation for Caleb Williams in that he's got a defensive coach. And while he's got weapons around him, I never like the idea of a defensive head coach with a talented rookie quarterback. I want to see a head coach that can pair with that rookie quarterback and get the best out of him. I don't think that's Matt Eberflus, honestly. Still, though, I'm very excited to watch Caleb Williams. Regardless of what you believe about the Bears, they are way better than they were last year, and that's got to feel good and be very exciting. Even if long-term, they still need to make one more change, maybe two, maybe GM, but definitely head coach. We'll see. Look, I'm rooting. I hope Matt Eberflus is incredible. I'd love to be wrong about that. But it's very possible Matt Eberflus is the last change that needs to be made in Chicago. But I love their quarterback. I love the weapons around him. There are certainly a lot of reasons to be optimistic and hopeful for the Chicago Bears in 2024. The Indianapolis Colts have a very, very simple reason to be excited. Anthony Richardson is quite possibly the most talented and physically gifted quarterback in the entire NFL. I know that's crazy to say. Dude can run, he can throw, he's got a cannon. He's something like, if you combined, I don't know, like if you made some kind of robotic combination of Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar Jackson, you'd end up with this, what's the word, cyborg-like quarterback that is Anthony Richardson. His only downfall is he got hurt last year. He played in 4 games. Really, it was 2 games and then a quarter and a half. So he played in a quarter against Tennessee. He played in a quarter against Houston, then the first half against Tennessee. In 2 games and 3 quarters, he had 7 total touchdowns. He ran for 4. He threw for 3. I don't know, man. I think it's very possible if he hadn't gotten hurt, Anthony Richardson would already be viewed as a superstar quarterback in the NFL. He's literally that talented and that good. He's got a great head coach, Shane Steichen, some weapons around him. Dude, I cannot wait to watch Anthony Richardson this year. The AFC South is a bloodbath. You look at, the Jaguars with a young quarterback, Houston with a young quarterback, Tennessee with a young quarterback, and the Colts have a young quarterback. They're all talented. They're all exciting. Can't wait to watch the Colts this year, specifically because they've got quite possibly the most talented quarterback in all of football, which I guess, therefore, it's not crazy to say Anthony Richardson is the most physically gifted quarterback on the planet, which I know is crazy, but he's the best athlete in the Colts, guys. He's just a rare, special guy that I can't wait to watch make plays this year in Indy. He was playing great before he got hurt last year. His year got cut short his rookie season. I cannot wait to hopefully watch Anthony Richardson play a full year in Indy. I've got a lot of hope for Tennessee. The added head coach, Brian Callahan, he was the offensive coordinator last year in Cincinnati. He worked really well with a backup quarterback, Jake Browning, after Joe Burrow got hurt. And by the way, you can probably throw the Bengals into a team. They're a team that has hope for this year, certainly simply because they've got their quarterback, Joe Burrow, back. But back to Tennessee. I look at Tennessee, new head coach, Brian Callahan, offensive mind, paired with a young, talented quarterback, Will Levis. Will Levis played a little bit last year. He played in 9 games. He led the team in passing, even though Ryan Tannehill, the other quarterback in Tennessee, played in 10. So even though playing in fewer games than Ryan Tannehill, he led the team in passing. He threw 8 touchdowns, only had 4 interceptions. He also ran for a touchdown. I look at Will Levis and see a lot of potential. And I see a young quarterback who's got potential paired with an offensive head coach who did really, really good stuff calling plays and designing the offense in Cincinnati last year. And I go, man, that's a dream scenario. Why couldn't Brian Callahan have been hired in Chicago, honestly, with Caleb Williams? I don't know. I don't know why the Bears stuck with a defensive head coach. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But I think Tennessee, is it perfect? No. Is Brian Callahan a household name? No. Was Will Levis the most talented young quarterback in football? No. But what Tennessee is doing is the absolute best they can. And it's a plan that makes a lot of sense to me that I feel very optimistic about. And therefore, man, I look at the Tennessee Titans as a team for sure that deserves optimism and excitement. Atlanta has a ton of hope. Simply for one reason. The reason why I'm excited about the Atlanta Falcons, if no other reason, I am so happy. Look at me, guys. Look really close. I am so happy. You have no idea. They got rid of the guy that drove me nuts for a long, long time. Arthur Smith. Dude, I said it earlier, I fucking hated watching Atlanta Falcons football games the last couple of years. It drove me nuts. The way they misused Kyle Pitts, the way they didn't get Bijan Robinson involved last year. Dude, I wanted to jump off a cliff every time I watched the Falcons game. I almost boycotted them. I was like, I'm not watching the Falcons anymore. Desmond Ridder playing quarterback? Are you kidding me? So they got rid of Arthur Smith, their frustrating, we'll say the least, head coach in Atlanta. They've got a new head coach, Raheem Morris, a guy that people love, resounding positive feelings towards him. They finally have a good quarterback in Atlanta. Say what you want, right? They gave Kirk Cousins a massive 4-year contract, $180 million. Then they made a move that made no sense. Kind of made sense, but I've argued back and forth on it. They drafted number 8 overall quarterback Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington. No matter what you want to say about their quarterback situation, did it make sense? Was it a good move? We can all agree, no matter who you are, hey, either quarterback is a huge upgrade over their situation last year with Desmond Ridder, who, well, I don't know what they were doing. Hey, Arthur Smith, what were you thinking, man? Was that the move that was going to save your job? Desmond Ridder at quarterback? It never made sense to me. I never understood it. It wasn't a good plan. It didn't work. It was terrible. So, in conclusion, what has happened in Atlanta? They got not one, but 2 new quarterbacks. Both are better than the one they had last year. New head coach. They're making changes. They've got a lot of really exciting young talent. They got 3 guys recently drafted in the first round. Wide receiver Drake London, tight end Kyle Pitts, running back Bijan Robinson. And, by the way, all were used horribly by the former head coach. I have a lot of hope that things can be different in Atlanta. On top of that, I really hope that Raheem Morris can make the defense better in Atlanta. I just have a lot of hope, optimism, and excitement for the Atlanta Falcons this year. I'm really, really thinking it's going to be awesome. And time will tell. We'll find out. Carolina has a reason to be excited. Things were bad last year. They had an offensive head coach and a young quarterback, and it didn't work. It's a similar situation this year. They've got still Bryce Young, the former number 1 overall pick, going into his second year as starting quarterback. And they got a new coach, Dave Canales, who was the offensive coordinator last year in Tampa, who did a good job with Baker Mayfield. Man, I want to frame this as a positive thing. Like my patience for the Panthers is wearing really thin, but I hope this is the change that makes it good. Bryce Young, quarterback I really like. Dave Canales, a coach I got no problem with. Certainly an offensive-minded coach, which I like. They drafted a wide receiver, Xavier Legette, out of South Carolina. Kind of a stud. Dude, I love. If nothing else with Xavier Legette, he's going to give us so much entertainment. You got to listen to this man talk. I don't know what accent that is. I guess it's South Carolina. He's from South Carolina. It's the most Southern accent I've ever heard about. It's just... I don't want to make fun of the guy at all. I love him. He's awesome. It's just, dude, I could listen to him talk for hours. It's such a, sometimes I don't know what he's saying. Like, not going to lie. Like, I hear Xavier Legette talk. I'm like, what did he say? Say that again, like a little slower. What was that? And I listened like 3 times and I still never can figure out what he said. He's got a thick Southern accent. He's a really talented wide receiver. Love the dude. He's awesome. You got Adam Thielen, returning to the Carolina Panthers. You've got a wide receiver, Deontay Johnson, they brought in from Pittsburgh. I'm really curious if Carolina can take all the changes they made and turn it into something good, right? A couple new receivers, new offensive head coach. They got a talented young quarterback, Bryce Young. I'm hopeful. I'm not sure what's going to happen in Carolina, but certainly you got a lot of reasons to be optimistic with what's going on in the Carolina Panthers organization. Denver has a new quarterback. They drafted Bo Nix, number 12 overall. You love to see it. And we'll see what happens. I mean, Sean Payton is supposed to be a really, really great quarterback coach. He helped Drew Brees become a Hall of Famer. And then after that, it was a lot of waiting for him to figure it out. The New Orleans Saints were not terrible after Drew Brees retired, but they never found like their franchise quarterback. And last year, I was really hoping Sean Payton was going to help Russell Wilson. It didn't happen. It didn't work. So Bo Nix is his guy. Bo Nix is the quarterback Sean Payton hand-picked. He'll tell you it's the guy he wanted all along. He makes himself sound really smart when he talks about the draft. Like, oh, I wanted him, and I tricked other teams into thinking I wanted J.J. McCarthy. Whatever. If it's your guy, it's got to work. It's very simple. Bo Nix has to do well. I like Bo Nix a lot. I'm an Oregon kid, grew up in Portland, rooting for him. He went to the Ducks college football team. It was fantastic at Oregon. Right now, today, I look at training camp videos. I see Bo Nix throwing in shorts, looking outstanding, like throwing dimes. And I'm like, man, there's no reason to not be excited about Bo Nix paired with Sean Payton. Here's why I'm optimistic. I think Sean Payton's kind of a control freak, quite honestly. I think he butted heads with Russell Wilson, and what Sean Payton really needed was a young quarterback who was just going to listen to him, was going to treat him like a god, fall in line, do whatever he said. I don't know that Russell Wilson was that. I think Russell Wilson wanted a conversation with his coach where and a relationship with his coach where they collaborated and worked together. I think what Sean Payton wants in a quarterback is someone who listens to him and does what he's told. And I think he was never going to get that with Russell Wilson. He's going to get that with a young rookie quarterback who's eager to grow and has done nothing to prove himself yet in the NFL. So I think this could work out very well simply because the relationship between Bo Nix and Sean Payton is much more aligned with what Sean Payton expects from his quarterback. So I'm hopeful. We'll see what happens. But man, frankly, Sean Payton's got to prove himself this year. This is a shot where put up or shut up, quite frankly. Like I'm really tired of waiting for Sean Payton to do well and find the right quarterback. It's been years and years, and I've been waiting, and it hasn't been working. This microphone thing, look what I'm holding. It's like a amalgamation of wires and a microphone. It doesn't work, like holding it is pretty awkward, not gonna lie, but it's guys, it's really comfortable to like do podcasts this way. I could see myself, we got a new setup coming 14 days from now, moving to a new apartment, gonna have a dedicated recording room again. It's gonna be awesome. First time in years I've had that. I might do like the podcast, like how do you say this? The almost stand-up microphone where you like have a microphone, you walk around. Like I really like actually holding a mic and like carrying it around with me. It's very fun. I really enjoy this process. I like moving. You hear, I'm over here, I'm up, down, louder, quieter. I love it. I really like it. Gosh, guys, the LA Chargers finally got a new head coach, and a really good one, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh took a team, the 49ers, to a Super Bowl. He didn't win. He lost to his brother and the Ravens, but that's okay. He still took a team to a Super Bowl. Last year, Jim Harbaugh took a team, Michigan, to and won the national title. So he's been to a Super Bowl. He's won a national title in college. The Chargers have an elite quarterback, Justin Herbert, and now a great head coach, Jim Harbaugh. It is so easy to be excited when you look at the LA Chargers this year. They've got, again, everyone talks a lot of shit about the Chargers roster, quite frankly. People say, oh, they're not very good, they're not this. Look, it's really hard to be awful when you've got an elite quarterback and a great head coach. The Chargers have exactly that. I don't think you need to say much more. Like, there's not a longer conversation we had. You got a great head coach and an elite quarterback. How can you not be ecstatic if you're a Chargers fan? You got to be. It's going to take some time. I'm sure like it's going to be 2-3 years before they pop off and are like Super Bowl contenders maybe. But man, dude, if you're a Chargers fan, I think quite frankly, this is probably the best setup you've ever had. Like Norv Turner, Phillip Rivers was close, maybe. The Dan Fouts era. It was a long time ago now, but that was pretty good. Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert's hard to beat. I think it might be the best head coach quarterback combination in the history of the Chargers franchise. And if you want to argue with that, write in. Let me, like, what's a better one? Dan Fouts, and I forget who his coach. He had a legendary coach too. Norv Turner, Phillip Rivers. Like, those are the other two great I forget the head coach Dan Fouts had right now. Legendary coach, threw the football a ton. But if you don't agree with me, let me know. But I think it's likely Jim Harbaugh, Justin Herbert is the best head coach quarterback combination in the history of the franchise. And I'm very, very excited to watch what happens with the Chargers this fall. They've got a lot of reason to be excited and hopeful this year. The Las Vegas Raiders. They signed a quarterback, Gardner Minshew, to a 2-year, $25 million contract, $15 million guaranteed. I am very confident Gardner Minshew will be the Raiders' starting quarterback this fall. On top of that, they're pairing their new quarterback, Gardner Minshew, with a head coach, Antonio Pierce, who it just seems like their values really align. Gardner Minshew is a scrappy guy who fights really hard and is just a joy to watch play football. He loves the game a lot. Their new head coach, Antonio Pierce, was elevated from interim head coach last year. Josh McDaniels got fired. Antonio Pierce went 5-4 in his brief stint as interim head coach last year. The players love him. He's a former NFL linebacker. He fights hard. He loves the game. I think him, a former NFL linebacker, with Gardner Minshew as his quarterback, that's a fun setup. I think that's awesome. Coach, quarterback, you got to be excited. I'm not sure it's going to work. Antonio Pierce, I mean, he's just unproven, man. They don't have the best roster in football. Gardner Minshew is far from the best quarterback in football. If it's not Gardner, it's going to be Aiden O'Connell, which I can't imagine you signed Gardner to that deal and not make him your starting quarterback, but whatever. However, Antonio Pierce and Gardner Minshew both seem like awesome guys. The players love both of them. They're great for the locker room. I think, feed off each other, the energy they bring to the table, their love and passion for the game. And I look at the Raiders and go, yeah, like, let's have some fun. What did I say, FSU? Let's fuck shit up. Like, the Raiders have nothing to lose this year. They're going to make a lot of noise, be really fun. And I've got a lot of reasons to be optimistic about the Vegas Raiders this year. Seattle's a team I want to mention briefly. Seattle has a new head coach, Mike Macdonald. I think a changing of the guard, a change of leadership in Seattle was needed. They've got a lot of weapons frankly, on the defensive side of the football, a lot of young talent that I think Mike Macdonald, who is a former Michigan coach, former Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator, really smart defensive mind, and they've been drafting really well in Seattle. I think he's maybe the right coach to kind of come in and take the pieces I have on defense and put them in the right spot and succeed there. Pete Carroll's voice was one people were tired of in Seattle. Pete Carroll's an awesome guy. No one hates him, but just the shtick wore thin eventually. And now they've got a new coach, a new voice with Geno Smith at quarterback. They've been drafting well. On top of all of this, they traded for Sam Howell, the former Washington Commanders quarterback last year. He's their backup, kind of waiting in the wings to maybe elevate himself to become the starting quarterback behind Geno, and when Geno ever moves on. Seattle's got a lot of reason to be excited. I think a new head coach with a new voice is enough to be like, yeah, Seattle, they've got talent for sure. Now they've got a new young leader who's going to put them in good spots to succeed. I think it's a great pairing, and I'm excited about Seattle this fall. How about Arizona? The Arizona Cardinals are a team I said possibly could have the number 1 overall pick next year. That made people very angry. I want to acknowledge something. If somehow the Arizona Cardinals had the number 1 pick next year, it would be a monumental step backward from the progress they made the year before. And I look at Arizona, I see some solid weapons. Obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. is awesome. Their quarterback, Kyler Murray, is coming back and going to be fully healthy from an injury. Trey McBride is improving at tight end. You got a couple wide receivers behind Marvin Harrison Jr. that are exciting. Michael Wilson going into year 2. Greg Dortch. Zay Jones was brought in from Jacksonville. James Conner and Trey Benson are their running back duo. James Conner ran for over 1,000 yards last year. Trey Benson's a rookie running back out of Florida State. The tackle situation is improving. Paris Johnson's moving to left tackle. Jonah Williams at right tackle. They're trying to improve their offensive line in Arizona. They've got a defensive head coach, which, look, say what you want about Jonathan Gannon. He's kind of a goofy guy sometimes, but he knows football really well. He's a really smart defensive mind who I think is going to make an improvement on the defensive side of the football in Arizona. Arizona Cardinals fans, let's talk real quick. You're optimistic. You're excited. I really actually get it. I understand. I think I came across as kind of a hater last episode. Didn't mean to. Like, that was not my energy. And you guys wrote in with good comments, good feedback. Look, I'm all for the Cardinals getting better. I don't think they're a playoff team this year, but I'm open to that. And certainly, I can't imagine a world where Arizona takes a step backward this year. They're going to be better this fall, for sure. And that enough is a reason to be optimistic. And Cardinals fans, enjoy it. Enjoy your It's June 1st. It's a great time of year to be optimistic because we can't play till September. So like the painful losses aren't going to pile up for a while. So enjoy this period if you're a football fan in general. Just kind of blanket statement to any NFL fan. Everybody's 0-0. Everyone has no losses this year. Everyone's undefeated right now. Enjoy it. Enjoy the hope you feel in June because by October, we'll be having tough conversations about all kinds of stuff, and it'll be really fun. Like Giants fans, dude, you guys are going to melt down by October. I want to give a quick shout out to the Rams. Cooper Kupp is finally fully healthy. Matthew Stafford, your quarterback, is fully healthy. I've been watching just so many videos of Matthew Stafford throwing at training camp. Dude, I love watching that guy throw the football. Matthew Stafford is an unbelievable talent. Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, a lot of young guys progressing in LA. I think the Rams are a weirdly, quietly dangerous team in the NFC this year. And then Minnesota, let's talk about them. The Vikings got some weapons. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison at receiver, TJ Hawkinson at tight end, a new running back, Aaron Jones from Green Bay, a division rival. We all know the Vikings have a stud head coach, Kevin O'Connell. And then the thing they did this offseason, they drafted quarterback, number 10 overall, J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. Who knows how long it's going to be till he plays, but I'm really curious to watch Minnesota this year. I think it's going to be fun and interesting, and I'm excited. By the way, Colin texted me. Colin, if you're in the audience, I know, what is he talking about? He is talking about coming on to Zach Schaumler talking. Colin, I hear you. Sorry, I'm in Hawaii. I've been busy moving jobs. Colin, I'll reach out to you soon about doing Zach Schaumler talking. Thanks, Colin F. You know who you are. You texted me today. I love you, man. I know you listen to the show, so we'll get John Zach Schaumler talking. 2 weeks from now, I move into a new apartment, and from then on, we'll have such an easier time making. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to set up a camera, a computer, a microphone, the whole setup every time you record a podcast? I want to do like 5 podcasts a week. I'm not going to, by the way, but I want to. Like, I'd like to. When you don't have to, when all you have to do is sit down and hit record, your life is so much easier than when you literally have to move. I have to move my desk across our entire apartment, drag it across. Actually, the desk, when I recorded the other setup in Portland, I literally like put the desk I have as like a bar across it. So I put on my shoulders like a squat rack or like a squat bar. I squat the thing up. I walk really awkwardly over to the couch, put it in front of the couch. Then I have to set it up, then set up the camera, the microphone, all that. All that to say that, guys, in 2 weeks from now, I'll have a room to record the show in where nothing's got to change between episodes. It'll be the identical recording setup for like forever. Can't wait for that. We signed a 15-month lease. I would probably sign for longer if I could. It's a great deal. I'm really happy. And dude, to not have to change recording setups for 15 months, probably longer. I think we're going to sign another lease after this one, to be honest. So excited. Like, I am beyond excited for this, and it's going to be really, really fun and a nice upgrade for your boy, Zach. I want to read a question from Patreon, we'll call this like an intermission to the show. Justin writes in and says, HVAC Zach, the Mavs made it to the finals. Let's go. Who do you got in the finals, Boston or Dallas? I think it's very intriguing that Kyrie Irving played for Boston. Who's going to win in the finals, dude? I'm not going to lie to you. Look at me. I'm a football guy. I got no fucking idea, dude. I don't know. I don't know who's a better team. I'm not going to make a prediction. I know, look, the network I'm a part of, CLNS, is a Boston Celtics network, basically. So we'll say Boston because I like Brad Stevens, and, Boston gets clowned on for losing all the time and choking. So I'd like to see them win. But the narrative I want to mention real quick, if you're a football fan like me, and you're not the biggest NBA fan like me, and you want a thing to watch in the next couple days, June 6th on Thursday, the NBA Finals do kick off. And the reason to watch, like the drama that really interests me in all this, is that it's Kyrie Irving playing his former team, the Boston Celtics. And I think that storyline alone, his familiarity with the team, the players there, the crowd, they know him. They're going to be, frankly, probably saying all kinds of horrible things to him from the stands. It's going to be fun. Like, the atmosphere in the finals is exciting. Luka Doncic is incredible. Kyrie Irving. I just encourage you, if you're not a huge basketball guy, like I'm not. I can't pretend. I don't talk about basketball very often on the show because it's not authentic to me. It'd be fake. It would come across probably horribly if I pretended to like basketball. I just don't. But I might watch this year's NBA Finals simply because I like Luka a lot, and the drama of Kyrie playing his former team is interesting and fun and intriguing, and I want to watch that a lot. I think it'd be really interesting. So, little shout out to the NBA Finals. I think a lot of people that listen to this podcast are football people almost exclusively, but football people are still sports people who like sports in general. I like competition. I like high level playoff, competition. And I think the NBA Finals are going to have a huge atmosphere. It's really fun this year. I encourage you to watch it. I think it's going to be cool. And I'm going to try to watch it a little bit and maybe talk about it on the podcast. I'm really fascinated and looking forward to enjoying what is the NBA Finals this year. I don't know how to cover it because we do one episode a week and there's like multiple games a week. So I don't know how to do that. But certainly whenever they come to a conclusion, I'm going to watch the NBA Finals this year. I'm going to go out of my way to do that. And whenever they come to a conclusion, I'm going to cover them and talk about them because I find it really exciting, the rematch of Kyrie Irving against his former team. And it's pretty cool to me. Now, we got to talk about another sponsor for today's show. This episode is brought to you by Rocket Money. How do you keep track of all your subscriptions? Can you tell me for sure how many subscriptions you have and who is taking money from you each month? Have you ever had trouble canceling a subscription? Or have you ever discovered you were being charged for something you didn't think you should be charged for? Well, Rocket Money can help you. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. They monitor your spending and they help you lower your bills. I can see all of my subscriptions in one place, and if I see something I don't want, I can cancel it with a few taps. I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Plus, they'll even try to get you a refund for the last couple of months of wasted money and negotiate to lower your bills for you by up to 20%. All you got to do is take a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money will take care of the rest. Take a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money will take care of the rest. Rocket Money has over 5 million users, and they've helped save its members an average of $720 a year. With over $500 million in canceled subscriptions. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/SOS. That's rocketmoney.com/SOS. rocketmoney.com/SOS. Can I give you like a little personal advice, by the way? I'm working really, really hard on my own personal finance, kind of getting my ducks in a row. Got a real job, got a girl I'm going to marry, I'm really like growing up as an adult and getting my shit together. The best advice I can give you financially is really, really corny, but it's true. You need to look at your bank statements and start keeping track of your spending. Like, this is not a Rocket Money ad. This is me, Zach, Uncle Zach, telling you what to do. I have a spreadsheet on Excel. Every time I spend money, I log it in my Excel spreadsheet. And it forces me to go, hey, dumbass, you spent money on what did I buy the other day? I bought a game. I bought Demon Slayer. It's a 3D platformer on Nintendo Switch. It was on sale, 45% off. It was like $15. I bought it. Do I need Demon Slayer? No. Should I be spending money on Demon Slayer? No, I don't. I really should. I should honestly be focusing on getting out of debt even further. It's $15. You spend a little money here and there where you can. But my point is this. I keep myself accountable by looking at it and really observing my spending and keeping track of how much I'm spending on food, how much I'm spending on gas, budgeting really effectively, because I spend a lot of time looking at my bank statements and where my money goes. Guys, you should be doing that. You shouldn't be spending money hoping and praying you have enough. Look at your bank account, go through the line items, write them down, keep yourself accountable, look at what you're spending on what. It's really huge. It's made a huge difference in my life financially, and I encourage you to do the same. And if you want, who did my girlfriend got an email from Caleb Hammer Caleb Hammer, like the YouTuber who does, what is it called? Financial audit, I think. His advice was basically that. I was actually really impressed. Shout out to Caleb Hammer, good YouTuber, by the way, but he has like a mailing list you can join, and he doesn't sell you anything. He's not like telling you, hey, pay me this and I'll coach you. It's not a scam. It's not bullshit. If you're on his mailing list, he literally just encourages you. Hey, keep track of your money. Look at where you're like Caleb Hammer seems like a good dude. I like him. It's a lot of people on YouTube seem like scumbags that are grifting and stealing money from you. Caleb Hammer's like got a good approach that I really like and I appreciate. And shout out to him. I've never watched a full episode of his. My girlfriend loves him. I sent her one and she watched all of it because I was just obsessed with the title in the first 5 minutes. I was like shocked. And she's on his mailing list and he sends like really genuinely helpful, good advice that doesn't ask you for anything. He doesn't ask you for money, doesn't ask you to sign up for anything. He just sends like, encouragement and advice. And Caleb Hammer, salute to you, man. Respect. You're a great content creator. And I think he actually does stuff that helps the world make the world a better place, which is a rare thing to find, quite frankly, in the YouTuber, influencer, creator space. Not a common thing. And I got a lot of respect and admiration for Caleb Hammer, fellow YouTuber. Let's talk about a thing I saw on YouTube this week that, man, how do I say this properly? It was disappointing. NFL tight end, Giants tight end, Darren Waller, released a music video called Who Knew about his divorce from WNBA player Kelsey Plum. I don't want to be too hard on a guy making artistic expressions of his emotions, I guess, because look at me. I make podcasts and I make stuff on the internet. I make art, for lack of a better term. And if people want to roast me, go ahead. I try to be self-aware and know my flaws and know my weaknesses and acknowledge all of that. I can own that I'm not perfect and I make some, like, go watch the intro to episode 644. It was cringy. I flubbed it and I had fun with it. I said, we'll leave it, whatever. So I don't want to hate on somebody, but I want to acknowledge it because it was rough, dude. This music video, it's a man going through a divorce. A guy Darren Waller's got a history of drug abuse and been to rehab and dealt with it and all. And man, the thing I know about his divorce from Kelsey Plum, who, if you don't know who she is, look her up on Instagram and you'll be like, damn, she's an awesome woman. She seems cool, fun. Like I like her interviews. And then on top of that, objectively, Kelsey Plum is a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. He cheated on her. And like, word of advice to guys out there, hey, don't cheat on your partner. Break up with them if you want to sleep with somebody else. Don't cheat on your partner, your girlfriend, your wife, your fiance, whatever. And before you do all that, if you got someone like Kelsey Plum you're married to, who's a smoke show, maybe try to figure it out. Maybe talk to her. Maybe communicate your needs that aren't being met. Maybe have an adult conversation about why you're interested in random hoes that aren't your wife. That's because I've cheated on people before. I've been there. Hey, have the conversation. Be an adult. Don't cheat on your wife, dude. Don't do that. This music video is rough. It's a bad look. It's really concerning. I encourage you to watch the music video, actually. Watch Darren Waller's song, Who Knew? It's terrible. It's a lot of auto-tune. It's really cringy, actually, which can bring a lot of entertainment value, actually. The top comments on the music video are, bro got more auto-tune than receiving yards. That's one that I love. Another one is, I'm calling it now. Opposing teams are going to play this when Kelsey Plum is on the court. I love that idea. Your wife is your ex-wife, I guess, is a WNBA player. When she's warming up or between transitions, them playing Darren Waller's song from Spotify is an objectively hilarious way to troll people. And I'm all for that kind of gamesmanship. Darren Waller, why are you making your ex-wife's life more difficult, dude? How about don't make the music video? And another top comment on that is, Kelsey Plum is going to see this and laugh nonstop for 60 minutes. Here's my question to the entire Darren Waller thing, this music video that is objectively terrible. Where's his dad? I mean, that's a terrible question. Where are his friends? Where are the people that care about him? Where are the people that maybe are like, hey, Darren, hey. Maybe don't spend money on recording studios and a music video and a guy to edit it and shoot it and produce it. Maybe don't be doing all that. The song is terrible. The music video is cringy and awkward. It's a waste of money. That's what's really sad is someone took his money and ran with it and frankly robbed Darren Waller of a lot of money. And you can argue he's robbing the New York Giants of a ton of money too with his terrible contract and bad play on the field. But my point is this, man. it's a very public example of a guy doing stuff that's not very self-aware. And it's like, let's not do the music video thing, man. And I don't want to hate on Darren Waller. I just feel sad for him. Going through a divorce, got a lot of stuff in his past that is concerning. And clearly there's not a group of people that are looking out for him. And his friends that are supposed to have his back, the people that should have said, hey, dog, the music video ain't a good idea. They didn't speak up. They didn't help him. Watch the music video. It's really cringy. It's really, it's awkward as all get out. You should watch it. Like, honestly, it's a very entertaining time, but it's also very sad to see a guy publicly doing whatever Darren Waller's doing. It's like, ugh, that's a really bad music video. News broke this week. The Bears have been announced for Hard Knocks. I'm excited. Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams mic'd up a ton. We get to see the relationship between Matt Eberflus and Caleb Williams. We get to watch, why am I blanking? Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator, how he interacts with Caleb Williams. Like, Caleb Williams is going to be the star of Hard Knocks. Can't wait for it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really, really exciting. Here are some key dates you got to know about Hard Knocks. When to make sure you have HBO. A month from now, July 2nd, we get an off-season version of Hard Knocks. It's the New York Giants getting followed around with cameras throughout their off-season, making decisions, drafting people, signing people, all that stuff. It's going to be very fascinating. We've never seen the Giants on any kind of Hard Knocks before. That's going to be very cool. Giants ownership has been very resistant. I think this was the compromise. They're like, how can we get the Giants on Hard Knocks? Well, what if we just show your off-season stuff and we take a lot of time to edit it and you get to proof it, basically? Because, Hard Knocks normally, they edit at a really fast clip. It starts in August and you are, filming, editing, and putting it out all in a week. There's not a lot of time to review for content. I would imagine the Giants ownership said, we want to watch everything before you put it out. And we're doing that. So July 2nd, we get New York Giants off-season version of Hard Knocks. That's going to be really fun. Make sure you got Hard Knocks. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to cover it. I can't wait for that. And then August 6th is when Bears Training Camp Hard Knocks airs. I'm excited for both. Hard Knocks is trying to expand. They're doing in-season, they're doing off-season, they're doing training camp like they normally do. It's going to be fun and interesting. And I really, really like the idea for off-season Hard Knocks Bears. But more than anything, look, Hard Knocks last year went hard, dude. Aaron Rodgers was a superstar on Hard Knocks. I loved it. And to get another version of Hard Knocks, this time with Aaron Rodgers, I can't wait. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be really exciting. And I'm very much looking forward to watching Hard Knocks this year with the Chicago Bears. All right, let's end the show today with questions from Patreon. We're an hour in. I could end it here, but I really want to answer some questions. We got some really good ones this week, and you guys delivered. I'm not going to answer all of them. I've got a lot written down, and the ones I don't cover this week, I'm going to cover next week. Like Kenny wrote in about gas stations, right? And it's objectively like a hilarious write-in. However, Kenny, I'm going to skip you and do it next week because we got so many questions. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about next week on the show, but I got a couple I want to answer. We'll do that today. Noah writes in. Noah says, hey, Zoloft. Sorry, I'll start calling you HVAC Zach after this. Yes, please write in with HVAC Zach. Oh, actually, we didn't even do a Patreon. I should tell you, if you want to support the show on Patreon, go to patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. Patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. It's $1 a month. You can donate more if you want to. Please do it. Go to patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. It's a huge help. It's $1 a month. I do not guarantee to read your question on the show. My only guarantee, I look at every single write-in with my eyeballs and I pick the top couple to read on the show. However, pretty likely if you write in, I'm going to read your question on the show. And we got so many write-ins the last couple posts on Patreon. I keep them. I save all of them. And I'm building a backlog, and I just save as many as I can for rainy day because you guys write in good questions consistently. And, between this week and next week, we're going to go through probably our entire backlog. So keep writing in questions on Patreon. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/Zach Schaumler. Back to Noah. Noah says, hey, Zoloft. I'm sorry, I'll start calling you HVAC Zach after this. Please do. I like HVAC Zach. It's a fun salute, but whatever. Zoloft is, what is, let me Google Zoloft. I think it's depression medication? Zoloft. Zoloft is an antidepressant. You can call me Zoloft. I try to make people happy. You know, maybe the podcast is a bit antidepressant for you. Call me Zoloft if you want. Anyway, Noah continues and says, side note, my full name is Noah Khan. So when you were talking about the singer Noah Khan in your latest episode, my stomach dropped for a second. It's very cool. Noah says, I don't think anyone's asked you about this, but are you an anime watcher? If so, hit me with your favorite ones, and if not, tell me why, and I'd be more than willing to debate and recommend you some shows. Thanks again for reading with your eyeballs and not someone else's. I love that. Noah Khan, not the singer. Noah, thanks, man, for writing in. People have asked me about anime before. My answer has always been I don't watch a lot of anime. However, dude, I recently went through a life-changing thing. On the plane to Hawaii, I was kind of getting ready. I'm like, what am I going to watch on this? It's a 6-hour plane ride. Actually, I had to fly to Seattle from Portland, have a layover in Seattle, then come to Hawaii. So I had a lot of time kind of chilling. I played Oracle of Ages on my Nintendo Switch, which is an incredible Zelda game. And I started watching a little show called One Piece. Now, I got so into One Piece that I watched the entire live action show on Netflix. And then I went, I like this world a lot. Let's watch the anime. And I've started down the path of watching the anime. And my girlfriend likes One Piece as well. So I'm rewatching the live action series now with her. And then we're going to watch through the anime together. There's like 21 seasons, like 10,000 episodes of One Piece. It's daunting, to say the least. However, I like it because it can be my show for the next however many years, that when I'm like, I don't know what to watch, well, I'll watch One Piece because it's never going to end, basically. One Piece is awesome, dude. I can't believe how much I like it. It's a cool world. It's pirates, which it is goofy a little bit, but the characters are so good. And the anime I like Avatar, if you count that. I love Hunter x Hunter, however you say that. And I love One Piece. Those are the 3 animes, considering if you count Avatar. I've watched basically 3 animes in my life. And I love that they all kind of revolve around the central idea of having a character who's a good leader, who brings people together. Like, Gon Freaks is awesome. Gon, the main character of Hunter x Hunter, is outstanding. I love him. And Monkey D. Luffy, the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates in One Piece, is like an awesome, effective leader who brings people together and cares about his people's dreams and wants to encourage his friends. Like, it's an easy character to get behind. I don't know. If I'd watched just the anime of One Piece first, I probably wouldn't have liked it. But for some reason, the live action show actually gave me like this gateway into One Piece and made me go, oh, I love this world. And then I started watching I'm now 8 episodes into the anime. I love it. It's actually like a great show. I can't believe for years I resisted One Piece. Well, it's dumb. It makes me wonder about things like Naruto. I'll never do Dragon Ball Z. It's too, they like scream for hours, like, ah, 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 like a fist is moving like in slow motion. I'm like, dude, just fight each other, please. I can't wait. I can't do episodes and episodes of screaming and fists moving at like, really, really slow speeds. Like, one day my fist is going to reach you. It's very like, it's boring for me, honestly. I don't care about, I can't do it, Dragon Ball. But Noah, I invite you to recommend me anime. Like, I'm open to stuff. I like good leadership. I like friendship. Hunter x Hunter is awesome. I'll probably watch that. If I ever finish One Piece, I'll go back to Hunter x Hunter, watch that with my girlfriend, Molly. We'll probably be freaking married by the time we finish One Piece. Like, there's so much to go on this show. It's really overwhelming. I think season 1 has 60 episodes of One Piece, and there's 21 seasons. Like, what? Oh, and like 12 movies, by the way, for One Piece. Like, what the fuck? It's crazy. But One Piece really impressed me, actually. It's really well written, and it's this character, Monkey D. Luffy, who's a goofy, you think he's an idiot at first, and the more you get to know him, you go, oh, like, no, he's a good leader. He cares about his people and supports them and their dreams, and he's just it's cool. He's not a traditional pirate. He's more of just, he wants to be free and explore and adventure, and he interacts with pirates who are not that kind of pirate, that are the stereotypical bad pirates and, mean, murderous, evil pirates. And it's really a good show. I highly recommend One Piece, actually. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it is actually it fucking won me over. It's a great show. I can't believe it. I love it. It's really, really awesome. And if you're a One Piece person, you know what I'm talking about. It's an endearing, well-written show with good characters that are awesome. And if you're not an anime person, my recommendation would be to watch the live action One Piece first, and then go back and watch they're both on Netflix. Go watch the anime version. There's a lot of crossover. It's mostly the same stories. The live action version kind of condenses some early events in the show. And if you ever want a gateway into anime, the goofiness that is One Piece, the live action show, is going to grab your attention. You'll like the characters a lot. And then go watch the One Piece anime. And it's actually, I think that for non-anime people like me, that process worked really well. And I think I'm doing it with my girlfriend, and she likes it too. Like watching One Piece, the live action show. We're almost done with that already. My second watch through, by the way. It's how much I like it. And she's like, I can't wait to watch anime. I'm like, sick. We'll watch One Piece now for the next 25 years till it's... There's so many. How many? Let's Google that. How many episodes of One Piece are there? How many episodes of One Piece exist? How many do you think there are? 1,107 episodes across 21 seasons and 15 movies. And it's ongoing. It's still not over yet. Okay. But I'll watch it. It's really fun. I really, really like it a lot. I'm surprised at how much I like One Piece. And that's me doing, by the way, I just did 10 minutes on One Piece on a sports podcast. You're welcome, Noah. Landon writes in and says, what's up, No Slack Zach? Just call me HVAC Zach. Why are we coming up with these alternative? Whatever, I support. Do your own thing. Landon says, what position on defense would you play? Free safety. Undoubtedly. I'm a pretty good athlete. I could run between either side of the field. I'm actually a way better athlete than I ever got credit for. And as an adult now, 27, I'm the peak of my athletic physique. I'm way faster than I've ever been. I'm more athletic. Like if I could go back and play football now, I'd be way better. I'm stronger. I'm faster. I'm a man now. Like I've really grown into my body. Free safety. I'm not a strong safety. I'm not a great tackler. I want to be the ball hawking pass coverage safety, and I want freedom to read the quarterback's eyes and go where I think he's going with the football. Free safety is exactly what I would do. I would get in the quarterback's head. I would basically play quarterback on the defensive side of the football, and then, dude, I could make a lot of plays in the football. Quarterbacks would try to mess me with their eyes. I'd be like, nah, I know where you're going with the ball, and I would prepare really hard, and I would probably study a lot of Ed Reed and try to copy him, which is, I know, an unrealistic goal, but man, I would be, I think, a really good free safety. Like when I play flag football or I play ultimate frisbee, that's what I do. I play this like free range safety position that just goes and snags the ball from people, and I get a lot of interceptions, a lot of knockdowns. I'm a pretty good free safety when it comes to flag football, at least, and that's what I would have played had I played on the defensive side of the football in real football as well. Kenny's got a great question. It's really long. I'm going to skip it. Kenny, next episode, I'll read it. It's beautiful. It's just, it's not going to fit in today. Samuel writes in and says, hi, Zach. Do you have any players in the NFL who you're a huge fan of, even though they might not be that good? For example, my roommate is always rooting for Kellen Mond. I can't tell you why, because he's never played for a team my roommate is a fan of. But now my whole house is rooting for someone who probably will never get a real start in the NFL. Also, are we going to do the SOS Fantasy League again? I'd love to run it back, hopefully with a team that could stay healthy. Fantasy League, yes, we're doing it. I don't know when. I got to figure it out. I don't know. Once I get into my new office, I've got a checklist of many things to do, and that's one of them for sure. But yes, we'll do a Fantasy League. Don't know when yet. We'll figure it out. My favorite player who sucks in the NFL is Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is... I've talked about this before. I fucking love Jameis Winston. He is the most hilarious person ever to play in the NFL. Him and Marshawn Lynch are competing for the most funny person ever to exist in football. When Jameis Winston retires, I want to personally produce a show where you get Jameis Winston and a camera and you send him around the world and you just film it. Jameis Winston in France would be hilarious. They're mean. They've got great food. He would be funny as hell. Jameis Winston, I want to see him in, God, what's the city with all the canals? I forget what it's called. It's in Italy. I want to see Jameis Winston in Venice. I want to see Jameis Winston in all kinds of hilarious situations, seeing a gigantic black man in Europe. Just Jameis Winston in Europe. Amazing. It sounds so funny to me. I want to see him in Machu Picchu. I want to see a Anthony Bourdain style show where you send Jameis Winston around the world. It's the best idea I've ever had. It would be, he is so hilarious. People have no idea how hilarious this man is. Him eating strange foods, traveling the planet. Dude, I should really reach out to him, his agent, and Travel Channel. I want to be involved in that. I'll be the cameraman. Dude, let's go. James, or maybe here's a better idea. Hey, Jameis, look at me directly. Fuck Travel Channel. Fuck Food Network. Let's do it ourselves. Let me be your cameraman. Let's make a YouTube channel, and let's just travel the world. I think I could make Jameis Winston into a travel superstar. He's so funny. He's such a, like him being himself is unintentionally the funniest person I've ever seen. He's goofy. He's awkward. He's lovable. Jameis Winston is by far my favorite player in the NFL who's kind of a bad player. He's so bad. He led the league in passing touchdowns one year. He had 33 touchdowns. You're like, dude, sick. Best quarterback in football, right? No, because on top of 33 touchdowns, he had 30 interceptions. Insanity. That's Jameis Winston in a nutshell. Go watch. There's videos of him talking. He's hilarious. He's amazing. I love Jameis Winston. I want to send Jameis Winston to the Great Wall of China. I want to send him to New Zealand. I want to send him to the Outback in Australia. I want to send him to... Oh, dude, I want to send him all over the planet and film it. I think it'd be hilarious and fun and really, truly, like, heartwarming. Like, he really is, like, a genuinely, like... I think he made mistakes in college. He's kind of been an idiot in the past. I own that. I acknowledge that. But I could get an audience of people to love Jameis Winston so easily if you gave me a camera and enough time and money. Like, dude, because he just naturally is a very fun-loving, goofy guy. And that's my dream, dude. Like, what do I want? I don't want a lot. I want to have a camera and Jameis Winston, and I want to take him to France to eat bread and croissants and make fun of, and I want French people to be mean to him and him be like, oh, I don't understand that. I don't go why you're mean to me. Like, that would be just incredible content. And I think it's such a good idea. And I hope that happens. Jameis Winston is by far my favorite player in the NFL. That's not very good. Okay, let's answer some questions that kind of relate back to last week's episode. Justin writes in and says, hey, HVAC Zach, I'll admit it. I was being delusional. If I'm being honest with you, Zach, I had just read some trash talk on social media and immediately angry messaged you on Patreon. I was clouded with the bias of rage. After pondering for a bit following your response, I will take a step back and not declare the Panthers as division winners without providing reasons why I think that. I do, however, still think we could win the division. Here is why Justin, with reasons this time, thinks the Panthers could win the division. First off, I believe Dave Canales is building a system around Bryce Young's strengths, unlike what Bryce Young had during his rookie year. Hopefully, because of this, our play calling will improve along with offensive line play. Do you know how many times I had to watch hook routes or plays that broke down because of poor offensive line play last season, Zach? Too many. Our defense played pretty great last year despite our awful offense, and we're keeping Ejiro Evero as our defensive coordinator. On top of that, I look at our schedule and think to myself, doesn't look that bad. Minus the Bengals, Chiefs, Eagles, and Cowboys. And finally, you said it yourself, the NFC South is awful. It's very possible that a team with a losing record could still be the division winner. I will also back off from my anger regarding having no primetime games this year. I agree. We got to prove ourselves to earn that. And you know what, Zach? I hope we use that as fuel to get fired up and prove people wrong. Thanks, HVAC Zach. Hope this resolves the bias and illusion that was my previous Patreon submission. Justin, I want to be very clear. Dude, I love you so much. It takes a man to admit when they're wrong. It takes a man to reevaluate what they say and go, maybe I was a bit ahead of over my skis. I like the humility. I like what you said. I like building an offense around Bryce Young. I like your optimism. I'm all for the optimism and the hope. I just thought you were a bit ahead of yourself saying, we're going to win the division in Carolina. Like, chill out, slow down. But, dude, nothing but love for you, Justin. Thanks for the write-in. We got no problem. We got no beef. I think you're awesome. I love you so much. And I like the reasonable take you just submitted to Patreon. Well done, Justin. Can we give a round of applause to Justin? Yay, Justin. Great job. We love you, man. Keep it up. Keep it up, Justin. Lee writes in with one that grabs my attention because I think it's awesome. Lee says, hey, Zach. Long-time listener, like I started watching around episode 20 or 40, something like that. I'm taking a big leap in life, going to NMJC for the lease pumper program. I imagine to mean New Mexico Junior College, but it could mean anything. Those oil rocking those oil rockers things. Going from South Louisiana to the desert of New Mexico. So yes, I was right. New Mexico. My question is, were you anxious in the weeks leading up to your move to Hawaii? Also, shout out to my dad who started a podcast of his own, Oil Field Talk, going around gathering stories from the older generation of oil field workers. Thanks for reading this with your eyeballs. Also sad you couldn't come visit for a day in Death Valley. I want to go to Death Valley someday. I'd love to. Trying to get my money situation right. Once that's right, I'll be traveling and gallivanting around the globe the same way your boy Brett Coleman does. But I got a while to get there. First of all, Lee, an oil field worker. Dude, salute to you. Respect. That's a tough job. As a guy who I was a plumber here in Honolulu, did HVAC work, I was a technician, which means I did very difficult stuff in crawl spaces, drilling holes in walls, using caulking, getting very good at doing all kinds of crazy stuff with, brazing metal and welding things. A lot of respect. That's a physical job and a much needed job. And I think it's really cool. I'm a former because I'm a salesman now, but I still work in the blue collar industry. I love blue collar workers so much. I think it's really cool. You're going to a trade school. You're going to probably not pay very much, probably not have much debt, if at all. And then you're going to make a lot of money when you get out. That's awesome, dude. I'm rooting for you so hard, Lee. Well done. Was I nervous in my move leading up to Hawaii? I wasn't, because I was excited. I knew it was a step in the direction of me having a new life. Now, Hawaii's come and gone. It's been this whole adventure. But my point is, you're asking about a move into the unknown. What's it like to move somewhere away from your comfort zone and to a new location? It can be difficult for sure, especially if you only know one place. But also, think about the change you're making. I mean, dude, regardless of what happens, I think that's really loud. Really loud here. I think everyone should leave where they're from. Everybody should take a step out of their comfort zone and travel a little bit and see the world. And Louisiana to New Mexico, it's a big change. They're very different. But you're going to gather stories. You're going to gather adventures. You're going to see things and do things you've never seen before. It's going to be awesome for you. It's going to be life-changing, honestly. And you're going to get technical training to make you good at your future job. I just hope you're not afraid, but you lean into it and you enjoy this transition and this change in your life. And I'm so excited for you, man. I really am. I think that trade school is great. Not enough people are doing that. You're going to make a lot of money for a long time until oil is completely dry. And then you know what? You can take that technical training and go do other stuff. I think you're setting yourself up to succeed really well. You're not going into much debt, if at all. And man, like, was I nervous to move? I mean, yeah, like, you're always nervous for a big move, but I think honestly you should be excited and look forward to this life-changing step you're about to take. And let it be an adventure. My dad has taken, I think my dad's actually in New Mexico literally right now. Like, my dad is a food and travel writer. He runs a brewery. He's insane. He's all over the place doing all kinds of stuff. He loves New Mexico a lot. There's good food there. It's called green chili. What's the cuisine? It's a whole different style of, like, it's basically Tex-Mex, but it's different and better in my opinion. New Mexico is a cool spot. The desert is uniquely pretty, and let it be an adventure. You're like a pirate setting off on your first voyage, or a captain of a ship. Like, just, you're heading off in an unknown direction. It's going to be new. It's going to be different, but it has potential for tremendous fun, growth. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to learn a lot about the technical field. You're going to learn how to study. Like, this is a big change in your life that's going to lead to a lot of positive things if you lean into it, enjoy it, and try to make the most of it. And so, Lee, I just want to tell you, I'm rooting for you. I think you're awesome. Send me an email if you want encouragement. I'd love to talk to you on the phone. I'd love to interview you, actually, if you want, about your adventure. And I'm really rooting for you. I think it's very cool. And Lee, seriously, I'd love to interview you. I think it'd be very cool. It would be really fun to talk to you about this adventure you're going on. And I'm rooting for you tremendously, man. Salute to you. Good luck. Shout out to your dad. What is it called? I think it's called Oil Field Talk. Is that correct? Oil Field Talk, your dad's podcast about the oil industry. And oil workers, which is really cool. I mean, dude, those guys have to have great stories. Lee, shout out to you. I'm rooting for you. You're awesome. And have the best day ever. ETN writes in and says, "Hey, Zach, writing in from San Francisco for the first time since last summer. First off, I'm glad you're at this point in your life. You seem very happy based on your Instagram and what you've shared on the podcast. I'll save a sports-related question for another time. So what I wanted to ask you is this. Would you ever consider bringing back Zach Schaumler talking? I enjoyed hearing your stories, lessons, and day-to-day life. I remember you took it down because you considered enlisting in the Air Force, but with you pursuing HVAC full-time, I was wondering if you would consider bringing it back. Why or why not? Bringing back the episodes. Yes, they're all out on YouTube now. Zach Schaumler Talking is fully back publicly on YouTube. I got to re-upload the episodes onto podcast land. It just takes time and energy. And again, new office coming soon, new job. It's going to be great. I'm going to have more time than ever. And so give me 2 weeks. In about middle of June, all the old audio files will be back on podcast land as well. Zach Schaumler Talking is already back, though. And I actually recently recorded a new episode of Zach Schaumler Talking, actually, with Balin. So I'm mostly using Zach Schaumler Talking now as a way to interview people. Quite frankly, it's a vehicle I can use to interview people. The show I do where I talk about my life and share stories is with my friend Austin. That's also coming out probably later in June. I'm telling you guys, moving into a new office is going to make my life so much easier and allow for all kinds of new possibilities. So lots of podcast stuff is coming. But in case you didn't know, ETN, you can listen to Zach Schaumler Talking currently. They're all out again. They're back public. I removed them so that when I was considering joining the Air Force and becoming a pilot, I didn't want them to keep me from getting accepted into the Air Force, basically. Because I do talk about drugs and all kinds of weird stories. But in my everyday life, even at my job now, I can justify it, talk about it, own my past. I've got no concerns. And I really, I'm excited for the future. Zach Schaumler Talking is a thing I really love to do, and it's back. So yeah, more episodes are coming. Enjoy them. Let's see. I'm gonna skip Jake today. I'm gonna read probably one more. Let's read one more question. We talked about the Patriots today, so let's read this one from Tim. Tim says, "Hey, AC Ack man, Zach. I think you're expecting Patriots fans to write in and tell you how stupid you are for thinking the Patriots will suck next year. Unfortunately, I can't do that. We are going to suck. The Patriots are betting underdogs in every single one of their 17 games this year. In fact, I hope they get the number one pick. However, I do think the future is bright, and I want to tell you why. Sorry it's long. I have a lot to say. Number one, I don't think Mac Jones was ever very good. But it's no secret that New England did nothing to help him. 0 weapons, one of the worst offensive lines in the league, and we hired Matt Patricia, a defensive coordinator, to be his offensive coordinator in year 2. Not to mention that he had 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years. So, why do I think the Patriots will support their 21-year-old quarterback Drake May better than they did Mac Jones? Well, they've already done more for Drake May than they ever did for Mac Jones. 5 of their 7 picks after taking Drake May were receivers and offensive linemen. The 2 wide receivers they took, Jalen Polk and Javon Baker, specialize in winning on routes in the middle of the field and deep, 2 of Drake May's strengths. They signed Jacoby Brissett so that if Drake May isn't ready to start this year, he doesn't have to. He's also, by the way, let me add, Zach Schaumler add, Jacoby Brissett is going to be a mentor for Drake May, like basically as a coach. If the offensive line is a sieve, we don't have to throw Drake May behind it. I believe they will only start May when he's ready and the situation won't kill him. We hired actual offensive coaches and quarterback gurus, Alex Van Pelt, Ben McAdoo, and T.C. McCartney, who can help Drake May overcome his mechanical and footwork issues, which seem to be the primary concern. When the Patriots inevitably have a top 5 pick next year, I think they should take a franchise left tackle, our number 1 wide receiver, and sign the other with an immense amount of cap space they're going to have. Also, are we forgetting they'll also likely have a top 10, if not top 5 defense? The departure of Bill Belichick, the greatest football mind of all time, is a massive loss, but I do see reasons to believe in Gerard Mayo and Drake May. And I think the New England Patriots have a bright future. If all goes well, I see them having a similar trajectory to the Houston Texans and D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud. What do you think? Are they going to be Houston and CJ Stroud, where they win a playoff game 45-14 in year 1? No. However, I don't mind, Tim, your optimism. The things how do I say this? The potential for Drake May and the Patriots is really high. Like he has such physical gifts. He's really, really talented as a player. So what I'm saying is, if things go really well, that's a great. I mean, man. Sorry, I don't like how I said that. If things go perfectly, right? If Drake May does develop his skill set, if the coaching staff is good, if they continue to support him with weapons, if the players around him develop, if things go well, it's going to be incredible. Like I guess I look at Drake May and I often assume it's going to go badly because of the lack of support Mac Jones had, but you laid out pretty well. They've got some good coaches. They've really drafted to support him. They're going to be in position to draft probably another good player next year when they suck this year. He's not going to be thrown into the starting job too early. I think it's very possible Drake May doesn't play much at all this year. He just sits behind Jacoby Brissett and waits unless Jacoby Brissett gets injured. Which Jacoby Brissett, I think he's pretty tough. He's actually probably going to play until they bench him, or maybe they don't bench him at all. I think I could literally see a world where Drake May doesn't play much more than a couple downs this year, which I think is fine. Like maybe a Jordan Love type scenario, which could be good for him. I guess what I want to say is I'm open to the possibility of the Patriots maybe handling Drake May properly and things going well. Because if they do things right and he really does progress, the sky is the limit for Drake May. He's really talented and people really like him in the building. So I guess I just want to say, Tim, I'm open to it. And I think everything you said it makes sense and is really, I think, thoughtful. And I appreciate the writing quite a bit, Tim. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. Guys, I love you. I'm in Hawaii. It's 6:41 p.m. on a Saturday. I'm going to go to dinner with my awesome girlfriend and enjoy the sun. I'll talk to you next week. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Next week, I'll be back in my studio, in my living room. 2 weeks from now, we'll have a studio. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Guys, I can't wait to have a desk again, to sit, to work all day at my little dang desk. It's going to be awesome. Until then, though, I love you. I appreciate it. I'll see you next week. Have a great day. And bam, we are